I never thought I'd see the day when I'd miss the creaky old floors of my home or the thrill of deciding what to cook for dinner. My name is Martha, and I'm 78 years old. 3 years ago, I made the decision to move into a nursing home here in the United States. At the time, I believed it was the perfect solution. No more worrying about mowing the lawn or fixing the leaky roof. No more fears about living alone and falling down the stairs. But as the months turned into years, I realized that life in a nursing home came with hidden costs that weren't printed in the glossy brochure. I'm sharing my story because so many people, my own children, my friends, and maybe even you, assume that a nursing home is the easiest path to safety and comfort in our golden years. It's true that for some folks, a nursing home can be a lifesaver. Yet I've faced unexpected challenges, emotional hurdles, and regrets that I wish I had known in advance. If you're thinking about a nursing home for yourself or someone you love, please stick around. Let's talk about the 6 regrets that still haunt me, in the hope that you can make a more informed choice. Before we dive in, if you've ever worried about being lonely or losing your independence, comment with the number 6 right now to let me know you share that fear. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos on senior living. Regret 1. Losing the simple joys of independence. The biggest shock I experienced soon after moving into the nursing home was how quickly my everyday freedom slipped away. At home, I could wake up when I wanted, shuffle to the kitchen, and brew a pot of coffee while still in my robe. I'd crack open the window, let the fresh morning air sweep in, and maybe even hum a little tune as I watched birds in my backyard. In my new living situation, however, there was a rigid schedule. Breakfast at 8 a.m., lunch at noon, dinner at 5 p.m. No exceptions. My carefree mornings turned into a scramble to get dressed before the dining hall closed. It might sound small, but losing these simple daily choices chipped away at my sense of self. In the first few weeks, I found myself feeling odd, like I was a visitor in someone else's life. I missed reading the newspaper in my pajamas until 10 a.m. and deciding spontaneously to make pancakes or skip breakfast altogether. When you have to follow someone else's timetable, even for basic things like meals and bedtime, you start to feel powerless. This erosion of independence led to a deeper sense of restlessness and eventually anxiety. The nurses and aides were kind, but they had to follow rules designed for efficiency, not personal preference. If I complained, I was labeled difficult. If I tried to do things on my own time, I'd miss out or cause confusion. Over time, I found myself just surrendering to the system. You can't fight City Hall, as the old saying goes. But in my mind, it felt like I'd lost a piece of who I was. Please think twice before giving up those small freedoms that keep life interesting. It's easy to assume that a scheduled routine might be good for you, but I discovered that not all structure is beneficial. There's a profound difference between choosing your own routine and having it chosen for you. One of my favorite quotes from my mother was, "A day without choice is a day without joy." I never fully grasped that wisdom until I was on the losing side of that choice. If you've ever worried about losing control over your day-to-day life, let me know by commenting with the number 1. And if you want more videos about how to maintain independence as you get older, don't forget to subscribe. As we move to the next regret, keep in mind, independence isn't just about being able to walk around without a cane. It's also about deciding how you want your day to unfold. Once you hand that over, it's hard to take it back. And that is precisely why I regret jumping into nursing home life without fully considering the trade-offs. Regret 2. Feeling socially isolated despite being surrounded by people. One of the biggest misconceptions about nursing homes is that you'll never feel lonely again. I used to imagine group activities, shared laughter in the hallways, and impromptu conversations over cups of tea. In reality, while there are indeed scheduled social events and plenty of people in the hallways, there's also a surprising emptiness that follows you. You might be thinking, how can you be lonely if you're living with dozens or even hundreds of other seniors? The tricky part is that genuine human connection isn't guaranteed just because you have neighbors. People in nursing homes often have their own challenges, health issues, memory problems, or simply a preference for staying in their own rooms. Others are dealing with family drama or struggling with depression. If you're not proactive, you end up merely coexisting rather than building meaningful friendships. I found myself in a peculiar form of loneliness. Sure, I could walk down the hallway and see a friendly face, but real bonding takes effort and not everyone is up for it. I craved deeper conversations about life, about my grandchildren, or even the latest Hollywood movie. Instead, I found a lot of folks who just wanted to watch TV in the communal lounge without speaking. Eventually, I withdrew too. I stopped attending bingo nights, and I found it exhausting to strike up chats with people who barely responded. The result? I felt lonelier than I ever did living in my own house, even on days when no one visited. It's that ironic sting, alone in a crowd. If the social aspect is what's luring you or your loved one into a nursing home, be cautious. While some people do find new best friends, not everyone experiences a vibrant social life. Activities can be repetitive: bingo on Tuesday, trivia on Thursday, and not everyone enjoys the same things. If you don't actively participate or if your health prevents you from joining in, you'll feel the walls closing in quickly. I vividly remember my late husband saying, "True companionship isn't about how many people are around you, but how many truly know you." Moving into a nursing home taught me that lesson the hard way. If you're concerned about social isolation, give me a 2 in the comments, and let's start a dialogue on how we can prevent loneliness. And remember, if you find this content helpful, please hit the like button and share it with a friend who might need it. As we head into regret 3, hold on to the thought that a change of address doesn't always solve loneliness. Sometimes it magnifies it. Regret 3, watching my sense of purpose fade away. After the initial excitement of a new environment wore off, I found myself grappling with a deeper issue: the loss of purpose. Back when I was living independently, I had my daily rituals and a sense of responsibility, even if it was just taking care of my garden or helping my neighbors' kids with their reading. Once I moved into the nursing home, I realized that those small roles gave me something to look forward to each day. My daily routine in the nursing home didn't include the activities that once defined me. I used to volunteer at the local library on Wednesday afternoons, reading stories to children. I had a small garden patch where I grew tomatoes and fresh basil. Moving here meant leaving those things behind. Sure, there were volunteer activities on site, but they weren't the same. Everything felt orchestrated or designed to keep seniors busy, rather than driven by genuine passion. Over time, a void grew in me. I started asking myself questions I never pondered before. Am I still needed? Do I matter? For someone in their 70s or 80s, these questions can weigh heavily on the heart. Retirement alone can challenge our sense of identity, and a nursing home environment where everything is managed can deepen that challenge. My mental health took a hit. I was less enthusiastic, less energetic, and I found myself waking up without a clear reason to get out of bed. It's easy to slip into depression when each day feels the same, and your contributions to the world seem minimal. If you're considering a nursing home, don't underestimate how crucial it is to maintain a sense of purpose. It's not just about having a busy schedule, it's about finding something that makes you feel alive. Take it from me, boredom and lack of motivation can chip away at your spirit faster than any physical ailment. My best friend Sue once told me, our world shrinks or expands in proportion to our courage. Without the courage to seek out new purposes or fight for old ones, you risk letting your world shrink to the size of your room. If this resonates with you, comment with the number 3 and share what you do to keep your sense of purpose. I'd love to learn about your passions. Also, if you haven't yet, subscribe to this channel to stay updated on more discussions about life after 70. Let's move on to regret 4. Remember, feeling useful isn't just about having chores. It's about nurturing that spark inside you that says, I still have more to offer. Regret 4. Dealing with the emotional toll of limited family visits. One assumption I had was that my family, especially my children and grandkids, would visit me more often once they knew I was safe in a nursing home. After all, my kids no longer had to worry about me being alone. I believed their visits would increase. I'd see them on weekends, we'd have family dinners in the nursing home's guest dining area, and maybe even birthday celebrations. But reality painted a much different picture. The truth is, most nursing homes aren't exactly lively places to visit. My children began to treat my living situation like any other facility, structured with certain visiting hours, certain rules. Some found the environment depressing, others were busy with work. My grandkids felt awkward, not sure what to do in a place where so many older folks were in wheelchairs or needed medical attention. Little by little, their visits declined. It hurt more than I can express. I began to feel forgotten, wondering if I had become an afterthought in my own family's life. The heartbreak was overwhelming, and each time a weekend passed without a single visit, I felt a pang of disappointment. Over time, I found myself hesitant to pick up the phone and call them because I didn't want to seem needy. The result was a vicious cycle of isolation and resentment. I'd watch other residents in the lobby waiting for visitors who never came. Some told me they'd been in the nursing home for years without a single family visit. Those stories haunted me. Living in a nursing home does not automatically guarantee frequent visits from loved ones. Sometimes it can do the opposite, because family members feel a false sense of security. Mom is being taken care of, so we don't need to worry as much. If you're planning to move into one, have an honest conversation with your family about expectations for visits. Believe me, the emotional toll of feeling abandoned can be more painful than any physical discomfort. My late father always told me, family is everything, and I carried that belief into my own parenting. Yet the nursing home experience taught me that life gets in the way for our adult children, no matter how much they love us. If this fear of fewer family visits strikes a chord with you, leave a 4 in the comments. Also, give this video a thumbs up if you find it helpful. Your support means the world to me. Let's proceed to regret 5 now, and as you keep watching, remember that while you can't force your family to visit, you can prepare yourself emotionally and communicate your needs up front. Regret 5, the financial strain I underestimated. Everyone told me that a nursing home would be expensive, but I thought my retirement savings, Social Security, and a small pension would cover the costs. I believed that once I sold my house, I'd have enough to live comfortably for the rest of my days. Yet, the reality of nursing home expenses hit me like a ton of bricks. Monthly fees were steep, even though the facility where I live is considered mid-range. Then there were additional charges for special services, physical therapy, specialized meal plans, or even extra housekeeping tasks. At first, I shrugged them off. I'm paying for convenience, I told myself. But as the bills piled up, I realized I was spending more than I ever had. I had to tighten my budget in ways I hadn't anticipated. No more occasional splurges on dinner with friends outside the facility. No more small gifts for my grandkids, which I used to love doing every Christmas. The stress of watching my nest egg dwindle was monumental. Instead of relaxing in my golden years, I found myself constantly double-checking my bank statements, anxious about running out of money. I even considered looking into part-time online work to supplement my income. Imagine, at 78, contemplating a return to the workforce just to sustain basic living costs. This financial strain also impacted my mental health and overshadowed any convenience I might have gained by living here. If you are considering a nursing home, do your homework. Ask about hidden fees. Talk to a financial advisor if you can. Don't assume that your retirement savings will stretch as far as you'd like. Remember that your health needs may change, and specialized care can be even more expensive. As my old friend Harold used to say, it's not what you earn, it's what you keep. And trust me, in a nursing home environment, you may keep less than you anticipate. If finances worry you, drop a 5 in the comments below. I'd love to hear about any tips you have for managing the cost of senior living. And if you find value in what I'm sharing, please subscribe to my channel so you won't miss my future videos on frugal tips for retirees. Now, let's move on to my 6th and final regret, one that ties everything together on an emotional level. Hang in there. This might be the most poignant regret of all, and I hope it will give you some valuable insights on your own journey. Regret 6. Underestimating the emotional weight of watching others decline. When I first moved into the nursing home, I saw it as a place of safety and support. But I didn't consider one crucial aspect. I would be living among people whose health was often declining rapidly. Seeing fellow residents struggle with dementia, lose mobility, or cope with chronic pain took a toll on me in ways I never imagined. You might think, well, at least there's medical support right there, but witnessing other residents' deterioration day in and day out can become an emotional burden. There were days when I'd walk down the corridor and see someone sitting in a wheelchair, staring vacantly at a wall, or crying out for help in confusion. Initially, I tried to offer comfort, but I'm not a trained caregiver, and it started affecting my own mental and emotional well-being. Over time, it became harder to stay optimistic. I found myself battling nightmares, waking up at odd hours and feeling guilty that I wasn't in worse shape. Then I'd feel dread, knowing that my own health might follow a similar path one day. It's a heavy emotional load to carry, and you can't just turn it off. This ongoing exposure to other people's suffering can lead to something like compassion fatigue or even depression. Let me tell you, it's hard to maintain your own sense of hope when you're surrounded by heartbreak. Consider the environment you're walking into. A nursing home is not just a place to live, it's a place where people are often at their most vulnerable. Make sure you're prepared for that reality. If you're someone who's deeply empathetic, or if you're already battling your own worries and fears about aging, this environment can amplify those feelings. As the great Maya Angelou said, "We are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike." It's easy to see your own future in the eyes of someone who is suffering. If the thought of being surrounded by declining health scares you, leave a 6 in the comments. It's okay to admit that fear. Acknowledging it is the first step to deciding whether a nursing home is right for you. And before we move to the final part of this video, please remember to like and share this content if it resonated with you. With all these regrets, I want to make one thing clear. Nursing homes aren't inherently evil. They serve a critical purpose for those who need round-the-clock medical care or don't have the option to live at home safely. My goal is not to scare you away, but to help you go in with eyes wide open. We've journeyed through my 6 biggest regrets about living in a nursing home, from losing everyday freedoms and dealing with unexpected loneliness to facing financial strain and emotional burdens. Each regret stands as a cautionary tale. My hope is that by sharing these stories, I can help you or someone you love make the right choice for your unique circumstances. Before we wrap up, let me offer 3 life lessons I've gleaned from this experience. Lessons that I believe apply to all stages of life, not just our golden years. 1. Lesson 1. Responsibility for our choices. No matter how convincing the brochures or how well-meaning friends and family might be, the final decision lies with you. Owning your choices, even the tough ones, gives you a sense of control. 2. Lesson 2. The power of connection. Whether you're in a nursing home or living on your own, human connection is vital. Make the effort to reach out, build friendships, and communicate your needs to loved ones. Isolation is the real enemy of joy in later life. 3. Lesson 3. Adapt with hope. Aging is inevitable, but it doesn't have to be a downward spiral. Stay open to new experiences, hold on to your passions, and remember that every day can have a spark of purpose if you seek it. If you've watched this far, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Your feedback and support help me keep sharing my journey. And if you know someone who's considering a nursing home, please share this video with them. Nursing homes aren't all bad, but they aren't one-size-fits-all either. In the end, the real question is, what do you want your final chapters to look like? That's the choice before you. I wish you clarity, courage, and above all, hope.